Hi, it's Cosmic Charles, and I thought I would do a primer on this build of a Poison Storm or Proliferation Storm. So I've been working on Proliferation Storm since I saw Kalikaiz's video on it a couple weeks ago. My list is different than his, but I will link to his channel if you want to check out his Proliferation Storm decks or his other Storm slash eggs slash control combo decks that he likes to play in Pauper. And I'll also link my deck list in the description. So Proliferation Storm is a little different than the historical Pauper Storm decks of the past. Typically, with like Relay Storm or Cycle Storm, you build up a large amount of storm count or other types of value, and then you go off with a big storm spell and you kill them that way. Proliferation Storm is kind of in reverse and staggered. First, you infect them, and then you cycle through your deck, and you kill them out that way. So it's and usually it takes like a couple of times of going off before you can get up to 10. So it's slightly different, but it is still very much a storm deck. I guess an argument can be made that it's more of an eggs deck, but it's storm slash eggs. It's in that area. So let's take a closer look inside the deck here. So here we have the main synergy of the deck, and these are the depletion lands. These form the core of the engine. So essentially, you have these lands that tap for 2 mana, so they're almost like Tron-esque. And that way, you can easily just outpace your opponent by just dropping these larger lands turn after turn. So they're very important. They're very powerful. A lot of lists run 12. I can only really fit 11 from what I'm seeing, which is fine. 11 should be good. Yeah, so these are almost like little ritual lands. They do have a drawback. They enter the battlefield tapped, which is pretty huge, and they only can and they go away should you ever remove all the depletion counters from them. Sometimes you can do that, but it's usually pretty important to leave them around. So most builds of this deck don't run the Sandstone Needle as their third depletion land. They run the Peat Bog. But I've actually been preferring the Sandstone Needle, and I'll show you some reasons why. So I really like what red offers. It gives you Pyroblast. It gives you some good field wipe. I mean, black has field wipe as well, but not at instant speed, and not with something like a Scatter Shot, which is very good against fairies, because it's essentially uncounterable. And yeah, and Inside Out's really good against other things as well. But the real reason why I'm splashing red is for Manamorphose. It really helped with the deck's consistency in terms of hitting my blue mana, or my other 2 colors of mana. See, I try and play the deck closer to like mono blue, splashing the other 2. So I'm really trying to reduce my color requirements. And by having something like 4 Manamorphose and 2 Inside Out in the 75, I'm only running like 1, 2, 3, 4 red, like solid red cards that require red, and these other 6, they can be cast off a red, but they can also be cast off a green or blue. So I'm just touching red pretty much. And the other thing is a Pentad Prism. The red mana makes it very easy to get 2 colors for this, and that's a reason to keep a third color, an additional reason to keep a third color rather than going to straight blue green. And I also thought I would show you the other splash, which is the green splash, which is important for Weather the Storm and Moment's Peace. These cards keep you alive. I run 2 Moment's Peace, actually, 1 in the main and 1 in the board. It also helps filtering for Manamorphose. So again, I'm just trying to reduce my commitment to non-blue. And yeah, I've been finding it to be much more consistent and reliable with Manamorphose in there. Now, this isn't a permanent source of mana, so it's not going to fix all your problems. So here we have my other lands, which are some basics. Previously in the build, I used to run Lotus Petal, but I found that just going up basics really helped. Really helped some of the issues of the deck, like losing depletion counters or not having lands that you needed. Like, it was very helpful to have lands that entered the battlefield untapped and didn't deplete. And half the time when I was running Lotus Petal, an untapped island, or even untapped of any color, would have been enough. So I've really been enjoying these basics. I run 4 island, because it's very important to have blue. It's my main color. And I just have the 2 forest and the 1 mountain just because I run thirsting roots, so it's pretty nice to search it out. Yeah. And here's the other part of the mana. That is 4 Everflowing Chalice and 4 Prism. So these are very powerful. They generate even more mana than the depletion lands when used properly. And here we have the Proliferators, which combine with the depletion lands and the rocks just to generate huge amounts of mana. In fact, when you have Proliferators and rocks out and the depletion lands, you almost create what I like to call like a ramp jewel. It's an in-between a ritual and a ramp, or rather it's both combined. It's very powerful in this deck, and you can just generate huge amounts of mana by proliferating. You only need 2 rocks out for Thirsting Roots to start generating, and 3 for these other 2 drops, but it's still very powerful because both the ramps and rituals use. It's a ramp jewel, so it's I've been really enjoying that as part of the deck, and that's the engine. That's how the deck functions. That's how you draw through your library. And this is how you kill them. With Prologue to Phyresis, it's important to get this down early because you only run 15 Proliferators in the deck and 4 of these Prologues, so you have like 19. So you don't want to be proliferating while they don't have a poison counter. Sometimes you're going to be forced to, just to develop, but it's good to pay attention and hold back on your proliferators until your opponent's poisoned. Merchant Scroll really helps for that as a tutor for both Prologue, a proliferation spell, or some protection. I've been really enjoying Merchant Scroll in the list. It does have one huge drawback though, and that is it reduces the density of action in your deck by taking it out. So with Merchant Scroll, when I can, I like to hold it in my hand until the very end. Yeah, so I've really been enjoying Merchant Scroll here. And next we have the filters. So because you run these depletion lands, they tap for double of the same color. They're not very good for fixing. So you have, I believe, 8 access to blue, 6 to green, and 4 to red in the main, and that's just not enough by a long shot to be reliable. So I run these filter effects in order to bump that number up. So you see you have 4, 8, 11 filtering effects here. Thirsting Roots is a filtering effect when either combined with Prism or with by using its first ability, by searching your library for a basic land. So this would allow you to keep a hand, let's say, that just has Hickory, Woodlot, and a Thirsting Roots. You can just tap your Woodlot, grab your island, proliferate, keep going. Or tap your Woodlot, Thirsting Roots for an island, play a Prism. If you have a second copy of Thirsting Roots, you can proliferate then. So it really helps with the flexibility of the deck. And I find these filters are really important, and that's why Manamorphose is in the deck and why I'm running red. Main reason why I'm running red. And yeah, so with all of this, with all these like filters, with all these filters and lands, you actually run like a high number of mana sources. So because of that, you need to run these big draw spells. I only run 6 big draw spells in total. It might not be enough, but I'm trying to see what I can get away with in the deck. So you run like 28 mana sources, so you can get these huge runs of lands in the top of your library, and that can just be a death sentence if they happen at the wrong time. So you have these big draw cards to help draw you through them. 4C is the best at doing it because it can dig 6 deep. I've been really enjoying 4C. And 4C is one of those cards that has, when it's bad, your deck's running good. For example, let's say all 4 cards on the top of my library are great. I don't even want to change the order. I just want to draw them. 4C is worse than Divination in that situation. But let's say, for example, you have 3 cards on the top of the library that you don't want and 1 that you do. By bottoming the 3 lands, in some situations, it's almost like you've cast a Compulsive Research plus a Divination. So I've been finding 4C to be very good. It is easy to... you need to pick your spots. Don't just jam it into counterspell. Like, you need to stick and move. You need to... Yeah. And so, after that, here's what I run for. This is my protection, basically. So I run Dispel, which is tutorable with Merchant Scroll. Same with Hydroblast and Pyroblast. Pyroblast is for your blue counter magic. Dispel is for any instant counter magic. Or I suppose Artifact Destruction, perhaps, depending on the build. And Hydroblast is there for, anti-Red Blast, because Pyroblast is going to be pretty good against us. So that's this is our protection suite. 6 cards, not too many, but I've been really enjoying the protection. I've been finding I'm even able to keep up with blue-red controlling decks just with this. It's only for a brief period of time because I only run 6, but I've been able to out-tempo them, which is really impressive for a clunky storm deck like this. And here we have my hate. So here I run 2 Relic, Grave Hate, Serene Heart, Enchantment Hate, Inside Out, Walls Hate, and this is a new card that I'm testing, Hindering Touch. It's here in Hate because it's not really a protection spell. It's expensive, and let's say, for example, I counter a counter spell with Hindering Touch that's targeting one of my spells. What if they have a second counter spell? They can just counter my draw spell again. So Hindering Touch is there for if there is a must counter spell, because this spell essentially says is almost an uncounterable counter spell, or at least that's how it should function in a deck that's able to storm. So this will also, by the way, work for Reaping the Graves. So it's a tutorable Reaping the Graves answer, depending on the game situation. So I'm really excited to try out Hindering Touch as well. And I thought I'd show you my full sideboard. So right now I'm still, testing, seeing what works. And one of the things that I really like to do while I'm in this phase, and also what I like to do in general, I really hope I can keep it like this, is I like having all of these 1-ofs here. See, I run 7 1-ofs and 8 2-drops, which gives my deck a lot of flexibility. Now, this flexibility is not free. Some people don't like having a board with these 1-ofs. They'd rather have more solid answers for every matchup, which makes sense, but it is going to reduce your flexibility, like having something like that. Like, for example, I run this Tyrannax Atrocity, and I run this Hindering Touch. I could cut both of these and go up, bring my main deck Dispel back and my main deck Moment's Peace back, and then I freed up 2 spots in my main for more card draw. So this flexibility isn't free. But let me give you a quick example. If you look at Breath Weapon and Scattershot, Breath Weapon is better against elves, Scattershot is better against fairies. So you could say, oh, why not have 2 Breath Weapon, 2 Scattershot? Well, I feel like you're not utilizing your board space well enough there. You have such little board space, so it's important to maximize that where you can. No, I might be wrong. Perhaps it's better to have the strongest answer at any time, but Scattershot's decent against elves, and Breath Weapon's decent against fairies. So I don't think I'm losing too much. I think I'm gaining more than I'm losing in this situation. So yeah, there are some things you can lose, but like one of the things that I really like about having all these 1-drops is I have a very flexible board now. So let's look at my Cycle Storm matchup. If I were to be boarding in against the more popular build, not the one I run, the blue one, I have a lot of options. I have 1 Dispel, I have 2 Pyroblast, I have Hindering Touch, and I have 2 Relics, and I have 1 Tyrannax. I don't even think I could board all those in. But that's what I mean. Like, I didn't really have these slots specifically for Cycle Storm, maybe Relic, but I can go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think I'm missing anything, which is a pretty deep board, and I can definitely do it. However, there are some times which you maybe want to leave in a Moment's Peace, or even bring a Moment's Peace in against that deck, because they can just land creatures and beat you down. So you have a lot of flexibility to play around with based on how your opponent plays and how they're drawing and so forth. So I really like having a flexible board like this. Yeah. So My last video was the first game of my past league. Unfortunately, I didn't do very well after that game. I faced Ponza and just got absolutely crushed. It's not so much their land destruction as it is their land destruction and their artifact hate, so there's no really good way around it. That's just a must-dodge matchup for me. Then game 3, I faced Affinity, won handily. Affinity's been a very good matchup for me. Game 4, I placed against Black-White Pestilence, and I won game 1 very easily. Then game 2, I really misplayed. I've only played 4 leagues with the deck. The league I'm talking about right now is my 3rd league, so I kind of got paralyzed by indecision at one point between Weather the Storm and Scattershot, and I had all these options, and instead of doing something, I did nothing, and I also miscounted how much mana I could ramp into, so that really cost me game 2, and then game 3, I made the classic mistake of playing my land before drawing cards, and then I didn't have an untapped blue source to give that 10th poison on the 3rd game. So that was a little unfortunate, but I'm still learning the deck. And I also realized that I'm not very good at uploading videos yet, and I believe uploading 4 matches would be taking me a very long time. So what I decided is, after I played the 2 and 3 league, I played another league. I went 4-1 with that league, and there were 2 interesting games in there that I think would be worth sharing. So as I play, I'll just share like what's interesting. I'll take 2 matches, 1 or 2 matches, and I'll share them if they're interesting. If I have 3 matches, I might try and do that. I'm trying to work my way up into being a better recorder. Anyway, that's the primer, and I'll see you soon with the matches. Here we go. This was game 1 of my most recent league. Yeah, so let's check it out. So I won the die roll, and this is my opening hand. It's pretty flooded. I wonder if I kept this. Let's find, okay, good, I mulliganed. This is better, I guess I should bottom a sandstone needle or a forest. One of the 2. Depends how greedy I'm feeling. Not that greedy. Alright, so I lead on Sappers and Scary. Probably going to prologue when I can. And let's see what our opponent's on. Not that telling yet. There's a bunch of decks that could be running that. It could be Affinity. It could be the Jeskai Wildfire. We'll see. So I just play a Sandstone Needle, and if I'm feeling risky, I can prologue here, because I have the Manamorphose for the Sandstone Needle to proliferate with. But I don't have a proliferator yet. I would get 2 draws at one, so that is a line you can do. I wonder if that's the line I took, or if I was more conservative. So he plays a Mountain, and he plays Wildfire. So this is a Wildfire deck. Yep, Jeskai Wildfire. Alright, so I probably, if I prologue him here. Right now I'm feeling pretty confident, because I typically have a good matchup against these kinds of decks. Oh, I don't prologue him. Well, that was wrong. So that was definitely a mistake there. That I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know why. Oh, because I didn't have the. I didn't know if I had the Augury yet. Well, I should have. I would have been rewarded for the risky play. So I'm down 2 mana. So it wasn't wrong. I just wasn't being risky with my lines. So there, I take the Sappers and Scary instead of a Behold the Multiverse, because I want more mana, and I already have this 4C, and I have this Merchant Scroll in hand. So that means I can always tutor this out. So it's pretty free to put back the Behold the Multiverse. And I proliferate. And there's my Scary. He brainstorms. Pretty powerful if he has a shuffle effect. And he has a shuffle effect. Nice. So our opponent has a nice start here. Ramping out just like me. Yeah, he almost had the same amount of mana. Of course, this should put it over the top. So I'm feeling real confident now. I really hope I'm not trying to play around anything I shouldn't be. His 1 mana is probably a Spell Pierce. if I were to guess what he could have for 1 mana available. If he has something, it's a Spell Pierce. So I have Thirsting Roots. Thirsting Roots here is neutral. It's not generating mana, but it is adding a poison counter and resetting all of my lands. So that's very valuable. And I believe I probably just... We'll see what I do here, if I foresee or not. Considering it. Yeah, I definitely do. I have the mana to pay for Spell Pierce. And it's a little tricky with Merchant Scroll, but I guess I'm hoping to hold this in hand for longer. Okay, so this is decent. Another Merchant Scroll, not the... It's fine. So I'll probably bottom these 2 woodlots and draw the plant and the scroll. And I'll just pass a turn. I'm not going to play into Spell Pierce. Yeah, I have a handful of action. So Merchant Scroll's a little slow, but I have a lot of mana, so I think I should be fine. Yeah, sorry for the sound's a little bad. I have a cold. Okay. Let's see. Augur Bolus. Does he hit? Ephemerate. Decent. So what I don't want to see is the 4-drop, the guy that returns the Archaeomancer, yeah. Maul Drifter is also pretty rough, but I do like him tapping out here, so I'm thinking in my mind, maybe I can combo out here and just go off and kill him. 7's not that hard. These Merchant Scrolls will make it difficult, though. Yeah. Maybe I should have just... No, I don't think aggressively Merchant Scrolling is ever right. It's too risky, but maybe it is. So there's the mountain. And what do I do? I proliferate first. That makes sense. I'm trying to keep the density high in my deck. And there's a prologue. Nice. Another land. Not so nice. He is at 5, though. So here I'm Merchant Scroll. And what do I grab here? It's either an Augury or a Behold. I hope I grab the Augury. I do. Not a good hit. I'll probably just take the Moment's Peace to gain some life. This deck does have a lot of reach and burn and Galvanic Blast, you know, things like that. So it's important to keep a high life total. And I can Mana Morphos into Merchant Scroll here. I don't think I do, though. Again, maybe I'm a little too hesitant with trying to keep my card density, my draw density high. I'm not sure. So he ephemerated and put a lightning bolt into his hand with Augur Bolus, and he's getting it for 2. I don't think I Moment's Peace here, but again, it's just to like keep myself from out of bolt range. Once my life total gets lower, I'll be more interested in Moment's Peacing. So that was pretty brutal. He killed my Everflowing Chalice, but I still have these 3 depletion lands. So if I have 8 mana, that's still plenty. I am getting a little flooded here, though. That's another land, not what you want to see. I should pass here. I shouldn't press the advantage. I just need to keep passing. I really don't want to see an Archaeomancer, though. I'm down to 15. Down to 12. So I will be fogging this turn. I'm trying to keep myself out of bolt range. I should have Merchant Scrolled for the Behold and foretold it. I think that may have been the right choice, actually. Yeah, I've been kind of sick lately, so it's been affecting how I play. Let's see what I do here. Yeah, I just fog. Okay, and another Cleansing Wildfire. Even more mana. I think he 4, 7, 8. Yeah, that's a lot of lands. So he's able to basically keep up with me now. I shouldn't pass here. I hope I don't. I think I have to try and go. I know he has a mitt full of counter, so it's looking really bad for me right now. I've flooded out. So let's see. What does he do? Okay, he thinks twice about something, and he casts an Augur Bolus into a Galv Blast. Not looking good. So I wonder if him tapping out there was him considering playing like that red Archaeomancer, whatever it's called. Let's see. So I fog, and it's back to me. So I draw another land, not ideal, but again we run a lot of lands, and this is part of the, it's like the Achilles heel of the deck. You are susceptible to flooding. Weather the Storm, not the best. I mean, Merchant Scroll can add to the storm count. And he correctly reads that I'm flooding out, and he counters my Merchant Scroll here. Yeah, I weather, I gain a little bit of life. But at this point, it's just delaying the inevitable, I think. He has a lot of mana, 6 cards in hand to my 2, both of which are lands. Pretty lands, though. I do like them. Alright. And an Ephemerate the Muldrifter into another Muldrifter. So he draws a bunch of cards there. He is tapped out, and I drew a Manamorphose. So if there was any time for me to hit a run of cards on the top and just get extremely lucky, now's the time. Let's see what Manamorphose brings. Alright. Okay. Come on. Roll that wheel. Okay. Vivisurgeon. Beautiful. That's what I wanted to see. Okay. Although maybe a fourth. Yeah. Vivisurgeon. Let's see what we can do. Draw 3 is possible, maybe. He is only at 5, though. So I need to draw... Yeah. Prism and a plan to help reduce the cost. So it's looking possible. Because that's 6, and this effectively reduces all of my other 2-drop proliferation spells. I'd be incredibly lucky if I managed to win from here. Incredibly lucky, but it is possible. So there I cast the Pentad Prism. Do I play my land? Yeah, I play my land. My Contentious Plan. And I draw an island. So I didn't get there, unfortunately. But it is what it is, you know? You don't... It would have been very lucky for me to do that. So the opponent ephemerates his Muldrifter, probably. Nope, he decides on the Augur Bolus to keep that damage high. He has 6 cards in hands anyway. Makes sense for another ephemerate. So that tells me he probably has the Archaeomancer in hand already, and he was just waiting to see what I could do. And I just showed him that I... have nothing, otherwise I would have continued going. So he's likely going to jam the Archaeomancer now, and that will just seal out this game. Alright, it's Cosmic Charles, and we're back with game 2. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so... that's an interesting hand. I think I would keep this hand. I got all the blue mana I want, just not if it's permanent. Just only Manamorphose. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see how this works. All right, and our opponent mulligans to 6. All right, so I play a Woodlot and pass. Our opponent plays a Silver Bluff and passes. Pretty good. Manamorphose works for that too. I doubt I'd play it into post-board into removal though, so I'm just probably going to play and pass. Just keep it going. And let's see what our opponent does. They... Cleansing Wildfire. Okay. Getting a Plains. I draw a Needle. That's a good draw. Makes this prison better. And here I'm just going to try and bully them with my lands. Yeah, they have Cleansing Wildfire to accelerate. But they only have 4 of those, so I'm just going to keep playing 2 land drops for every one of theirs. Or at least I hope that's what I did. Let's see. And there's an Augur Bolus. He taps out, so it's looking like I might do something next turn. Let's see. Yes. Okay. And if you're hearing any noise in the background, that's my cat. He likes having constant access to food, but he'll eat too much if you leave a bowl open. So we put his food into a ball, and that's made him much happier. Because he always has access to food now, and he doesn't eat so much that he gets really fat or throws up. So, okay, let's see. Prologue. Excellent draw. So that's everything I could have wanted. This is very nice. Let's see who I start with. Probably Manamorphose into... Oh, no, probably Prism. Yeah, that makes sense. Start on Prism. And then Manamorphose, I'd imagine. Blue, blue. Okay, another Prism. That's decent. So I can probably cast... I really hope I can cast... Oh, I just cast Vivisection? Oh, you know what it is? Yeah, I didn't have enough mana to play Prism and Vivisection while still having a counter on the Prism that I cast. So I declined to prologue him there. Don't know if that's right, but I guess I just wanted to get the Vivisurgence down while he was tapped out because it's so expensive. That's pretty good, though. I got 2 decent protection spells, so I can probably win any war on the backswing. Our opponent preordains. And then they play a Rustveil and get in for 1. Let's see if they do anything in their second main. Oh, they're doing something... No, they wouldn't ephemerate it. So it looks like they're going to ephemerate their Bolus. They just jumped the gun a little bit. Alright. Yeah. And do they get anything? Come on. Nope, nothing. Alright. I guess they pass it back. And I play... What do I lead on? Probably the Prism. So I go Prism. Cast it through colors. So now I can really start ramping. That Augury was a great draw. And I believe this should be Manamorphose now, right? Or maybe I'm holding my Manamorphose. I don't know why I would. So I begin with the prologue. Let's see what he does. Dispel. I should use Pyroblast here. And I do. And he uses Hydro. No Dispel, sorry. And I Dispel back. So he is infected now. That's another prologue, so that's good. Had I known I was going to draw another prologue, a reason why I probably should have cast these Manamorphose first, I would not have fought over the first prologue. I would have just let him have it. So that's a reason to Manamorphose first, by the way. That was poor playing on my part. Okay, so... Manamorphose into blue-blue. Thirsting Roots, great draw. Green, I'll probably do that now. This generates mana. And adds an effect. Then I go Augury, all mana, but another Prism's not bad. So I have tons of mana now. He does have double white for Dust to Dust. I don't know if he has it or not. And there's a... Wow, that's great. I can keep prisming this. Oh, let's see how I boarded real quick. Sorry, I forgot to do that at the start. So it looks like I took out 2 Weather and a Moment's Peace and 2 Chalice. And then Behold the Multiverse for 2 Dispel, 2 Pyro, and 2 Hydro for my protection spells. Of note, I didn't bring in my Relica Progenitus for the Archaeomancer. I guess I'm hoping to kill him before that becomes an issue. And I play my second Pentad Prism. So there's only 2 Weather in the deck. And here I have a... I think I should take the 4C here. It's the most powerful draw out of all of them. So that's probably what I take. I get to Proliferate. And boom, boom. It doesn't add a poison counter, but it can really help set up my draws. And I can cast it this turn. It means that I'm not ramping, I'm ritualing, but you know, I'm fine with that. And I'm also fine with blowing a prism here if that was necessary, or if that's necessary. Oh, nice. Thirsting Roots, that helps a lot. And proliferate, 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 proliferate. There we go. So now I can easily cast this 4C without losing my Pentad Prisms. And that's pretty good. Dispel and a Vivisurgent. So bottom, bottom, top, top, draw, draw. Now I don't have the mana right now to Vivisurgent, so instead I'll just play a Hickory Woodlot and pass the turn. And it's looking pretty good. I am against a counter deck with Pyro, so we'll see how it goes. So upkeep, Ephemerate, resolves. And he gets a Cleansing Wildfire. Interestingly, it's not going after my lands, but I guess it makes sense. So, there's an Augur of Bolas, and he gets a Lightning Bolt. Then he goes Cleansing Wildfire, ramping himself now. This deck can also ramp, and leaves open 2 blue and 2 red. So hopefully this dispels enough. It might not be. That's an island, and I can go Vivisurgeon's Insight. And he goes Pyroblast. I go Dispel. Of note, I probably should have played that island. I lost a counter there. That was pretty bad on my part. Oh, thank God. It's just a Galblast. Opponent making a sweat over here. Alright. And yeah, so now I'm feeling pretty good. He's at 7. I'm drawing 3. I got a Hydro and a Pyro. I really want another Infect thing. I may have bottomed a lot of them, actually, with my auguries, so I should be... So I'm in the market for a Merchant Scroll. That's for sure. So now I weather for a nice 15. I'm still feeling pretty good because of these protection spells, but who knows what can happen here. So he attacks, or they attack, for 2. I'm at 30, so I got some time. And I draw Thirsting Roots. I'm going to hold that in hand because I'd rather have more available on another turn. I'll just skip to his end step here, save some clicks. It's going pretty well. I might be tempted to go off here, but I think I should just still sit back. Maybe not, though. That Ochaeomancer could be a problem. But I probably just keep passing and collecting. Now here I make a mistake, I think. Nope, not yet. Another Hydro. Not. Hopefully he has a lot of Pyroblasts in hand. If he doesn't, that's a very bad draw. Okay, our opponent taps out for, or is tapping for, an Archaeomancer. Now here's a mistake I make. I Pyroblast here. I should not have done that. I should just let it resolve, and then hopefully between these Hydros and Pyros, I can counter his own whatever he gets back from the graveyard. Because it's pretty. He only has 3 cards in hand, so maybe I thought I could get away with it, but based on how this opponent's played, it's unlikely he would do this without counter magic backup. And Hydroblast cannot protect this unless it's, yeah, there's no way. Counterspell. And now I have no way of countering a counterspell. So that's why that was a big mistake on my part. Again, I'm still learning how to play the deck, and funnily enough, I did think about that before this turn. I just was kind of clicking automatically. Easy to do when you're playing MTGO. You need to kind of develop a sort of discipline with that stuff. And I'm a kind of twice bitten, once shy type of dude, you know? Decent, though. Pretty decent. So he only has Counterspell up from the looks of it. I have 3 Infect, which is enough to kill him. So here I should lead on Contentious Plan. It's unlikely he'd counter the first one, and finish with Thirsting Roots. I really hope that's what I did. No, I lead on it. Well, that was a mistake. There's no way he's going to counter that. Yeah, he counters Contentious Plan. And now I'll win if I have another Infect or Proliferate thing, but if he untaps, I've lost this game. Yeah. Yeah, and he untaps, and I believe I concede here. I should concede here, so there's no way I can beat all those things. Or maybe I'm just hoping for something. Yeah, I concede. Alright, and that was game 2. So I lost 0-2, but I'm pretty sure I played fairly poorly. I haven't been fighting this cold, so I haven't been playing very well. While this deck can look commanding at times, your margins of victory are razor thin. They depend on, like, you know, when did you play a land, or did you Manamorphose previously? These are all of these lines that you kind of need to winnow out while you're figuring out how to play like a deck like this. I did the same process with Cycle Storm. My philosophy is make mistakes and learn from them, rather than spend a long time thinking. So while you play. That's the process that I'm in right now. And like I said earlier, I'm a twice bitten, once shy type of person. So I'll make the same mistakes again. All right, and I'll be back for the last game of this league. And then I'll share the result of this past league unless I already. All right, and we're back for the final game of this league. I did 4-1 this league, but it wasn't very interesting. It was mostly like the same matchup. I think I played like Affinity twice and White Black Pestilence twice, both of which are very easy matchups for me typically. So I didn't think it was very interesting. But I remember this final game was a little unique in how I drew, or at least some interesting things happened, I believe. I don't quite remember, but I remember it being really fun. So I thought I would share the last one with you now. Okay, so this is a pretty good opening hand. I have the Manamorphose doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, letting me keep hands like these that don't have blue mana, because this is double blue. Hopefully I can draw into a blue source off this Contentious Plan, this Augury, and my draw steps. Alright, so, did I win the die roll? Yes, I did not. Okay, so this guy, I guess is Siren? I don't think you pronounce the X's. Alright, so he plays a Scoured Barrens, or they play a Scoured Barrens, and that's a good sign for me, because I don't care about life whatsoever. And I just start passing it back and just hoping that he doesn't have discard. Let's see. Into a Spirited Companion. I guess they're more blocker oriented now because of mono red and less discard perhaps. Things have changed. Alright, so there's the Everflowing Chalice into a Woodlot. So I'm just trying to get as much value as I possibly can out of my proliferation spells because I don't yet have a prologue. So if I'm going to be proliferating without prologue, I want it to be developing my mana as much as possible. And he gets in for 1. With the good boy, the good dog. And there's the Inspector. And yeah. Alright, and right on time there's the prologue. So, better lucky than good, Always had it. So I go Manamorphose into blue. And then I use my first one to Phyresis, and my next one to Contentious Plan. Also, I guess I drew another Manamorphose, because that was a really big draw. Chaining Manamorphose is very good when you're in a situation like this, although I did draw the island. So here I probably take the 4C. It's just such a powerful draw spell. And bottom, and then proliferate, and proliferate. And the Chalice is really going to help cast that 4C next turn. He bogs me, again I don't care, I don't use my graveyard. And he attacks for 2. And on his second main they play Core Skyfisher, returning the dog. And I draw my 4th Manamorphose? No, my 3rd Manamorphose. Alright, and what do we do now? Green into Thirsting Roots, and I proliferate. 3 counters. So now this 4C is going to be pretty cheap. I go blue. That was a good draw. Sapphire's Scary really helps my blue mana. And I go 4C. I should 4C here to set up that Contentious Plan. Oh, I guess I don't. I guess I want more mana. Alright, well I guess I thought about that and decided not to. And I guess it was a good choice. That was a good one to draw into, because I would ascribe that to the bottom. So, there we go. And then I 4C. Oh no, I Manamorphose again. To another Contentious Plan. Just running hits. So I guess what I'm doing is I'm trying to feel the top of my deck out, hoping to get as much value out of this scry as possible, because you really want this to get lands out of the top. Alright. And now I played the 4C, so I guess I was doing it in a different order than I normally would. And that actually worked, wow. So, I mean, It'll work this time. It's not going to work every time, obviously. Like, no one knows what the top of their deck is. But I'm going to put these 3 lands through the bottom and keep that Vivisurgent on top. So this is almost like a draw 3 here by bottoming these. I don't need any of these lands, so that was very strong. Okay, so yes, looks like I got rid of a lot of flood there. Drew through a lot of it. That's great. And I probably probably Metamorphose into Weather the Storm. And then that. And then, can I Pentad Prism and Weather the Storm? No, I guess I decided it's not worth it. I'd rather get the... Oh, I already played a land, that's why. Okay. And he plays a Vampire Sovereign. And another great draw, so this is definitely a hot hand. So I go green, red, Prism. And I can probably kill him out from here. Like, I have just so much draw already. So let's proliferate. Into Vivisurgent. Proliferate. Into... Of course, I did just draw a lot of lands there, but I kept a lot of stuff that can keep me alive. Oh, another Foresee. That should be good. There, and I probably Foresee again. Or do I hold it? Because I have the fog. No, I Foresee again. And I probably... Yeah, 2 lands. And I don't think I need this Weather the Storm either. Hopefully I bottom that weather. And there we go. Bottom, top, right? Yeah, that's good. And now I can go probably Prism here. And have I played a land yet? I guess I have. So I'm burning the Pentad Prisms here. I consider burning that last one, then I decide it's not worth the 3 life. And I Weather the Storm again with a Moment's Peace. So I flooded out, but he's at 2. I have a Moment's Peace in hand, and I'm at 56 life, so I'm feeling pretty confident here. Let's see what he does. They get in for 6. Plays another Fisher. Let's see what they bring back. I thought maybe they could bring back the Vampire Sovereign and replay that. Big me for 3 again. But instead they elect to do that. Alright. And there's a Thirsting Roots. That's pretty good. But I just go Prism. Roots. He's at 9. And let's see what he does. He just gets in and plays a Dawnbringer. Gets rid of my... Oh, I haven't played my Moment's Peace yet. I draw Behold. This is an older build of the deck. And I take a Prologue to Phyresis. And I put a land on the bottom and drew into another land. But it doesn't matter because a Prologue finishes it off. Alright. And that was game 1. Okay, and we are back for game 2 of the last game of the league. And let's see how I boarded. So, it looks like I took out 2 Chalice for 2 of my Wipers. The Breath Weapon and the Scatter Shot. So let's see how that goes. I don't think I need to be as fast in this matchup, so Chalice is pretty free to take out, although I don't like going below 2. Alright. Let's see here. I don't think this hand's keepable, so I believe this is a mulligan. This hand's much better. I really like having all of these tap lands. No Proliferator, but I run 11 early Proliferators. I think I should be fine. So, let's see. I bottom the island because I'm getting a little greedy, but I think that's how you're supposed to play this deck. And there's the Thraben Inspector. That's some really pretty plains, by the way. I like that plains. And then there's the Sandstone Needle. So I'm looking like I'm going to try and foretell this Behold on my next turn. But I draw the Vivisurgent, so that means I don't. Because I don't want to lose any of my lands. I want to cast this Vivisurgent in sight on turn like 4. This deck's pretty slow, so I can get away with doing that. He gets in with a Thraben Inspector. Gains another life. And casts as a Dawnbringer Cleric. Pretty good against the meta, but it doesn't really affect this deck very much. Or at all. This is a 1-3. And I draw another Vivisurgent's Insight, so I'm pretty much locked into playing this out and dodging discard. So there goes my Scary. And I'm going to have a huge Proliferate for these lands next turn, I think. I do have access to my prologue. Maybe I should have cast it earlier, but I don't have any early Proliferators. You could have been a little more aggressive with this hand and foretold the Behold, but I don't think it's necessary against a deck with a slow clock. And a Deadly just... Alright, I guess... I wonder why I did the creature and not the clue token. I guess he needs some mana. Alright. And there's a Pentad Prism, so that's a pretty big draw. So that's 2, 4, 6. -2 is 4, 5. So I can play the Prism into the Vivisurgent's Insight. I probably do. There we go. Prism. Woodlot. Oh no, I'm getting greedy. Instead, I'm getting the Prologue because I want to get as much proliferation as I possibly can. That's very greedy of me, but you know what? It is what it is. Alright. And I'm fine with my Pentad Prism being destroyed here. That's one of the reasons probably why I did this. Because he can Dust to Dust by targeting his own artifact and my Prism. So proliferating the Prism isn't really all that great here. And if he does try and destroy it, I can just instant speed Prologue and still get the value. So he comes in, he attacks. Let's see what he does. Not a Dust to Dust, is an Inspiring Overseer. So I should Prologue him here, right? Or do I hold the land back? 2, 4. I hold the land back. Yeah, no, I don't. Do I? Let's see what I do. Yeah, I Prologue him here. And I give him an effect, and I draw what I needed, which was an untapped source of mana. I was prepared to sacrifice the Sandstone Needle here, but now I don't have to. Alright. I do it anyway. Alright, so... Manamorphose. Blue. Blue. Into a Chalice, that's very good. So I play Chalice. Whoop. Yep, play Chalice. Oh no, I can't play Chalice. It's too much. I don't want to lose 2 lands here. So then I proliferate, proliferate, and proliferate. And I cast my Hickory Woodlot. Looks like I'm still just being very patient. Yeah, I don't play my Chalice because I don't want to give him a second target for his Dust to Dust. A lot of the times they don't like exiling their own artifacts, so they won't do it. And they get in. And they take me down to 8, so I am getting low now. I do need to see a Weather the Storm, but I have a lot of draw, so I'm not that concerned. And a Vampire Sovereign down to 5. Alright, so now is the time to go. I have a lot of mana in my hand, so that's good for not running out of mana, but it might be a little bad. Let's see, more mana. And I lead on Everflowing Chalice into Everflowing Chalice, again just trying to get max proliferation value off of this. So this Thirsting Roots now generates as much mana as a Dark Ritual, not including the lands that are being proliferated. Oh, sorry, as much as a Cabal Ritual. So that's why I did this way. So when you have a hand that's full of artifacts, one thing you can do is play them all out, and then you can proliferate them and just generate large amounts of mana, because this is generating what a Cabal Ritual would generate, 3 extra mana. So proliferate everything, and those go up to 2. And I'm fine for my colored source because I have double Prism. So I probably Behold here, or do I cast the Vivisurgent? I should... Yeah, good. No, don't tap it yet. I can get more out of that than just 2. So, what am I? There we go. Figuring it out, figuring out the mana. I go Vivisurgeon's Insight. Don't want to tap those yet. Proliferate, Proliferate, Proliferate. Up to 3 now on all my chalices. I still have a good amount of colored mana. I go, yeah, because of this Thirsting Roots again. Another, like, it's even better than a Cabal Ritual because it adds, like, any colored mana, you know? So this is very powerful. And now I cast my Behold, probably bottom top here because I have the Weather. In this situation, you top the Manamorphose. Into, wow, that's powerful. Let's see here. So I go Manamorphose, blue, blue, into another Pentad Prism. So that's really good. And now this Vivisurgent Insight only costs 2. So that's pretty good. Unless I don't, yeah, I tap the Chalice here. That's way too greedy for me not to tap Chalice here. And I draw 3. I Proliferate, Proliferate. And I foresee, put everything to the bottom. So I foresee here, except for the Vivisurgent's Insight. Again, really showcasing the power of foresee. Because I have this Weather the Storm, so there's no need for me to try and kill him here. Maybe I should have. I think there's a chance, there probably wasn't any chance I run out of mana. But I can cast these Prologues at speed and put him to 8. It does play into discard, but we'll see how it goes. There's the Dust to Dust. Gets rid of both of my chalices, which is fine. I don't need that much mana anymore. That's why when it's a ritual and ramp, as I say, a ramptual, it's nice. It kind of gets around removal in that way, because you get the value out of it first. Alright. The Ephemerates to draw, I guess it makes sense, because my life totals is so high. 3 doesn't make that much sense. And here, I believe I just storm, not really storm. I don't do the Insight, because I'd rather do the cheap spells and see if I can just, you know, draw into it, which I do. And there we go. And that was the match. All right, so I hope you enjoyed. I'm a little sick, so I'm having a little difficulty focusing, but I hope you enjoyed anyway. All right, have a good one.